Welcome, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. The first thing we're going to do is just take a look at our demographic survey. So we're going to jump straight into that. I am going to try, I won't have the chat up at first. Let me see. I think I can do all the things. And then you guys make sure you're asking questions as we go. Kelly has a lot of the background knowledge on a lot of the insights as to how the demographic survey was run and the numbers behind it. So I want to share a couple of those with you just in terms of the methodology. But if you have specific questions, Kelly has got the background on all of that and can fill you guys in. So this is our 2024 demographic survey. The last one was in 2022. So today we're just going to look at some of the differences that popped up between the two surveys. We were pretty happy with the numbers. In fact, we saw a total of 1,400 respondents, which we think is pretty good numbers comparatively to other surveys that we've done in the past. So if you guys participated, thank you very much for doing that. And guys, if the numbers don't round up to 100%, that's just some rounding was done. And hopefully some of you guys got the Amazon gift cards that we incentivized with, and you were able to buy yourself something nice. So this was between November 26th and December 31st, 2024. So let's jump in. I don't think there's anything in here that you guys will find incredibly surprising, but we'll just kind of go through some of the different numbers that we found in terms of, and to be completely transparent, I'm just going to go through a little bit of a script. So if I sound like a robot, just bear with me. Overall, we take an in-depth look at several facets of the veterinary technician profession. And there's 4 major themes that we see emerge from the data. And again, I think this is where there's no major surprise. Credentialing, education, and identity. That's such a big part of what we're dealing with as professionals and as NAVTA. Income and overall job satisfaction, it's always a conversation. But I feel like we have more movement and advocacy than we've ever had before. Role clarity, workload, and the utilization of skills, and then wellness, professional challenges, and the future outlook of the field. So that's where we really focused within this survey. One of the most prominent themes that arise from the data that we collected is the emphasis on professional credentials. There still is a desire for a unified identity within the community, and the data reveal that a significant majority, almost 83% of respondents, are credentialed veterinary technicians. So we know that the majority of folks who participated do have their credentials, and we appreciate that. We also have a pretty good population of veterinary technician students. I know it's a small number, but I still love to see them popping up because I love to see the student population being involved. So if we have any students here tonight, thank you guys for being here and thank you for participating. Most have graduated from an AVMA accredited program, 82%. We've got 6% currently enrolled, and I think this is really important as NAVTA does support the credentialing coming from AVMA accredited academies, or accredited programs. So we were really excited to see compared to 2022, 80% of respondents. So we're seeing more of an increase as we've got more and more programs growing throughout the college or throughout the industry. Nearly half, 46%, hold at least an associate's in veterinary technology or nursing. Meanwhile, smaller percentages have started to earn their bachelor's or even master's degree in veterinary technology. We have 6% in other fields. So 2% of our master's degrees are in veterinary technology. That is a part that is emerging. We're seeing more education and more opportunity there. And then we've got 6% having earned their master's in other fields, but more and more continuing education throughout the profession. The survey also showed a robust desire for a standardized national credential. A remarkable 90% of respondents agree that the importance of having a nationally recognized credential, one that affirms the idea that every veterinary technician is a credentialed veterinary technician, meaning that every veterinary technician has graduated from an AVMA accredited school, has passed the VTNE, and meets all of their state's requirements for licensure. 93% of you strongly support protecting the title of veterinary technician so that only those who meet the required standards can use it. That's been a big part of our advocacy for our title. 94% agree on the importance of having this standardized scope of practice as well across our entire country. These high percentages indicate that practitioners are proud of their credentials, and we know we are, and that we're keen on ensuring that our profession is clearly defined, consistently regulated, and respected at a national level. The call for title protection and a standardized scope of practice reinforces the importance of professional credentials. It reflects an aspiration for clearer career pathways, for enhanced public understanding of the veterinary technician's role, all of which are in line with our strategic plan. Phil?
Just a quick, sorry for the interruption. We had one person that said that she's not seeing the PowerPoint, so I just want to make sure that everyone else is okay with the video portion of this, that they're seeing the PowerPoints. So if you can just drop a little note in the chat.
All the thumbs. Most people are saying they can see it.
Okay, good.
Autumn says no. Amy says yeah. Amy says
okay.
Liz sees it. Looks like we're okay for most of us.
Okay.
Autumn can't.
All right.
Thank you. Are you on your phone, guys? Do you want me to share again?
I don't. It sounds like it might be a singular problem, but maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Lauren's like, keep going. Don't press anything, Becky. It looks like some folks are on their phone and can see the slides. Zahara says she can see the slides on her phone. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm sorry. But the good news is we do have a link going out in the chat right to this. Phil, am I correct? So if you aren't seeing it, we're gonna get that out there. And if you need this actual presentation, we can send it to you too. So if you can't see it right now, you can just listen to the sound of my voice and we'll get you the presentation before too long. Thank you other guys for listening and weighing in and giving us your thumbs up and comments. So adding to the conversation is a debate over the professional title. While veterinary technician is currently in widespread use, the survey shows that 58% of respondents would prefer the title veterinary nurse. I am like running across lava rocks as I say this right now, guys, okay? Meanwhile, preferences for a professional prefix are split. 33% like licensed, 24% like registered, 28% have no strong preference. And these figures point to an ongoing evaluation in professional identity, a balancing act between tradition and the desire for increased professional recognition. So this is absolutely something that stays in the forefront of our conversations and our thoughts. And we continue to appreciate you guys weighing in on your thoughts and feelings around this, because it is something that we are trying to continue to get education and opinions on as we make our decisions and our moves going forward. 60% of respondents indicated a lack of support for the mid-level practitioner or veterinary professional associate position. So we'll have some time to talk about what NAVTA is doing in terms of the mid-level practitioner or VPA concept. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, what we see is more than half of you have a lack of support as this position has come more to the forefront. 65% not planning to pursue a degree in any of these programs that are associated with the MLP or the VPA degree. 24% showed some support for the positions, but only 7% indicated they may pursue a degree in any of these programs. So in summary, the first significant insight from the survey is that the veterinary technician community is deeply invested in bolstering its professional identity. By emphasizing high standards for credentialing, advocating for a unified national standard, debating the appropriate title, and showing little interest in a new level of veterinary employment, the data illustrate a field that is actively working to secure its legitimacy and status in the broader healthcare and animal care sectors. So lots of good insights there, and we'll have room for questions and comments about that in a little bit. Gross income, always an interesting topic and one that we always have questions about. And NAVTA's 2024 demographic survey also thoroughly examines the employment conditions that veterinary technicians face. A central finding is that despite some positive threads in wage growth, low income remains a major challenge. I was just talking to Dr. Ernie Ward about this, and I'm off script, so everyone, all the staff are freaking out, but I promise I'm okay. I was just gonna say that we were just talking about this, and so many people say, "Oh, we're paying way more, we're paying way more," and I was saying, yeah, if you used to get paid $7 an hour and now they're offering 17, it's still a lot more, but it's still not a living wage. And that's kind of what we're seeing in some of this data is we're seeing an average reported growth income of 53,759, with the average hourly rate increasing to 32.89 from 26.50 in 2022. So we're still seeing increases, but we're still working to make a living wage. Based on these averages, the computed salary reflects an upward trend. And this is an increase of approximately 3.4 over the last 3 years. Yet, while these numbers suggest incremental progress, low salary remains the single most challenging aspect of the profession, according to respondents. So we see some of the overall wages going up, but if it's still not a living wage and our folks are still not able to make ends meet, it's still a huge challenge that our professionals are facing, and one that, we talk about on a regular basis. And we talked a lot about the most challenging aspect of being a veterinary technician. And to our previous comments, 39% of the respondents cited low pay as the most significant challenge. 56% identified it as the most significant issue facing veterinary technicians overall. Beyond the baseline compensation figures, the data highlight that many veterinary technicians are juggling multiple jobs. Although 3/4 of respondents hold single positions, 18% are working 2 jobs and 5% are handling 3 or more. The primary reason cited for taking on additional work is the need for supplemental income. This situation not only reflects economic pressures, but also suggests that despite wage increases, the compensation levels do not fully meet the financial needs for many in the field. For those of you working 2 and 3 jobs, just my heart goes out to you. It's so much to balance and it's so much work. And I know you stay in this field for passion, and I appreciate you. And those are hard numbers to see. I appreciate that we're continuing to see upward trends, but I also see those of you that are struggling and don't make ends meet and are having to work 2 and 3 jobs, and my heart goes out to you. It's incredibly stressful times. Another critical component is job satisfaction when we look at the employment landscape. Overall, 61% of respondents reported being satisfied with their current job in their primary role. Yet the numbers indicate a notable shift compared to previous years. In 2022, 25% of veterinary technicians reported being extremely satisfied with their jobs. But by 2024, this figure dropped significantly to just 8%. Additionally, overall career satisfaction in veterinary technology has declined, with fewer veterinary technicians expressing high satisfaction levels regarding their long-term career choice. While 65% remain satisfied with their career in veterinary technology, the percentage of these extremely satisfied declined from 27% in 2022 to 12% in 2024. At the same time, dissatisfaction rates have increased. This suggests growing concerns about our long-term career outlook, potentially influenced by economic pressures and other industry challenges. The survey also touches on the influence that veterinary technicians have in their workplace. Roughly half, 48%, report having a role in influencing purchasing decisions, such as acquisition of equipment, products, supplies, while an additional 28% say they exert some degree of influence. This involvement indicates that many veterinary technicians contribute not only on the clinical front, but also on operational decision making. In essence, the second major insight centers on the employment conditions of veterinary technicians. The data reveal a profession where modest improvements in income coexist with persistent challenges related to low wages, such as the need for supplementary employment. Coupled with a declining sense of job satisfaction, increased fatigue and burnout, and concerns over financial stability, these findings underscore a critical tension between the vital role veterinary technicians play in animal health care and the economic realities that they face on the day-to-day. In terms of your role clarity, workload, and utilization of skills, the third key theme emerging from the survey concerns the nature of the work itself, specifically the clarity of job roles and workload, and whether veterinary technicians feel that their skills are being fully utilized. The survey shows that the vast majority of respondents are actively engaged in clinical areas, with 62% reporting that they spend most of their time in animal care and nursing, as opposed, for example, to spending time supervising others. In addition, many respondents indicate that they spend a considerable amount of time on other clinical activities, such as anesthesia. A significant 32% of respondents devote 100% of their workload to direct patient care, while another 27% spend between 75 and 99% of their work time in clinical settings. These figures provide an accurate picture of the day-to-day work life of veterinary technicians. The average working hours per week for those in this survey is 37.1 hours. It's slightly down from 37.5 in 2022. One particularly revealing aspect of the survey is the perception that for credentialed veterinary technicians and uncredentialed support staff sometimes perform similar duties. Approximately 48% of respondents feel that there is little differentiation between the responsibilities of credentialed veterinary technicians and those of their uncredentialed counterparts. This perception may be symptomatic of role ambiguity with many practices, where the delineation of responsibility is not always clear. Such blurred boundaries can lead to both underutilization of specialized skill and potential frustration among those who have invested in obtaining professional credentials. And I would go so far to say not only may, but does lead to those feelings. Furthermore, when asked whether they feel utilized to their fullest potential, only 36% of our veterinary technicians agree that they're being fully employed in their roles, while 44% feel that they were sometimes utilized and 19% felt that they were not utilized to their fullest potential. These figures reveal a nuanced picture. While many veterinary technicians are deeply involved in patient care and operational decision-making, as evidenced by their influence in purchasing decisions that we talked about, a sizable fraction still feel that their expertise is not fully leveraged. The discrepancy between the level of direct clinical involvement and the broader utilization of professional skills suggests that many veterinary practices are not optimizing the full range of competencies that our professionals possess. We also asked about wellness, professional challenges, and the future outlook of the profession. The final major theme drawn from this survey revolves around this wellness, the profession's multifaceted challenges, and its future outlook. A particularly striking finding is the prevalence of compassion fatigue. 88% of respondents reported that they have either experienced compassion fatigue at some point or are currently dealing with it. A small but notable 7% reported experiencing compassion fatigue both in the past and present. These high percentages indicate that the emotional and mental demands of the job are taking a significant toll. In addition to compassion fatigue, other wellness-related issues are evident. Although 50% of workplaces reportedly discuss the impact of compassion fatigue on the veterinary team, nearly 1/3 of veterinary technicians, so 29%, stated that they do not focus on self-wellness as much as they would like. Furthermore, only 41% of respondents consistently use all of their allotted PTO, and 9% are not offered any PTO at all. These findings suggest that while there is some institutional recognition of wellness issues, many veterinary technicians still struggle to find time and resources needed to care for their own well-being. When considering the broader professional challenges, low income remains a reoccurring theme. As noted earlier, 56% of respondents identify low income as their most significant issue that they face in their current roles. In addition to the immediate financial pressures, the survey points to other challenges such as burnout, lack of professional recognition, and staffing issues. The low salary is still cited as both the most immediate challenge by 39% of our respondents and as the top anticipated challenge over the next 5 years by 61%, predicting issues with salary and benefits. This underscores the pervasive financial concerns in our field. Looking ahead, the future outlook of veterinary technicians is mixed. On one hand, a majority of 57% stated that given the chance, they'd likely choose to become a veterinary technician again. This suggests a fundamental commitment to the profession despite its challenges. On the other hand, nearly 7% said they would not choose this career again. This highlights how some issues, such as low income, burnout, and underutilization, are starting to erode professional optimism for some. The survey also indicates that broader economic conditions and evolving industry practices, such as the increasing influence of corporate veterinary practices, are expected to further complicate the professional landscape in the next 5 years. With 41% of respondents predicting that economic factors and employment conditions will significantly impact their jobs, there's a clear sense that external pressures beyond the control of individual practices will continue to shape the work environment for veterinary technicians. The fourth major insight from the survey is that wellness and long-term professional challenges are at the forefront of many veterinary technician concerns. The high prevalence of compassion fatigue combined with limited time for self-care, inadequate PTO, and financial stress paints a picture of a workforce under considerable strain. While many veterinary technicians remain dedicated to their career, the data suggests that systematic challenges and changes in compensation structures, workplace wellness programs, and broader industry policies are necessary to sustain the well-being and long-term viability of the profession. In summary and conclusion, the 2024 demographic survey offers a multifaceted view of a profession evolving amid internal dynamics and external challenges. The four major themes outlined above provide a clear roadmap of the current state and future trajectory of the veterinary technician field. So what we're looking at the most and what seem to be prevailing are the professional credentials, education and identity, income and overall job satisfaction, role clarity, workload and utilization of skills, wellness, professional challenges, and future outlook. Taken as a whole, the survey paints a picture of dedicated yet overburdened workforce. Veterinary technicians are at the forefront of animal care, armed with high-level education and professional credentials. They are critical players in the day-to-day operations of veterinary practices, influencing decisions and directly impacting patient care. However, the data also reveal that despite their essential contributions, veterinary technicians face persistent challenges, from low-income and blurred role definitions to the toll of compassion fatigue and looming economic concerns. Addressing these issues will require coordinated efforts by professional associations, educational institutions, and employers alike. Enhancing compensation, clarifying roles, and instituting comprehensive wellness programs will help ensure that veterinary technicians are not only recognized for their expertise, but also supported on their professional journeys. Ultimately, the long-term success of veterinary technician field will depend on the ability of the industry to balance the demands of patient care with the well-being and professional growth of its workforce. I'm going to stop there because that was 28 minutes straight of talking. Phil, are there any questions you want to answer from that while I rehydrate?
There are no questions in the chat, but certainly take your time. We can hear the voice going.
I'm working so hard and I have so much voice, and yet it's so strange. Everyone has this funk that's going around, and I am not to be excluded. So thank you guys for that. That's basically our demographic survey. There is there's a link to it in the chat where you can see all of the results. Take a look at that, take that in. You can always send us any questions that you have.